Now that we have our machine learning model ready, we can proceed to the next stage of our showcase with the deployment of the remaining applications that are stored in this GitHub repository. Given that we have code stored in a GitHub repository, the technology that is going to be used in order to make these applications available on OpenShift is called source to image. First, we will start with the pneumonia risk detection application, which is a Selden wrapper for our machine learning model. This is using a Docker file for packaging the application. So therefore, we will go back to our console and deploy our application from the developer mode. There's also a way that we can use the command line interface to deploy the application, but for now we'll show the deployment using the console. In developer mode, we'll click on add, and here we have import from Git. We will enter the URL for the repository. See, it's a validated repository. We'll add the context directory, which is the pneumonia risk detection application. It's detecting that it has a Docker file for the strategy. We're going to create an application. I'm going to call it pneumonia risk detection. And now, if we look inside the application itself, we see that it's using a few environment variables. We can define these variables. Actually, let's start backwards. Inside the deployment file by clicking here deployment and adding the variables. So the first one we add over here is SSL verify, which we can set to true or false. Let's say in this case we set it to false because we don't need it to be verified. And the remaining values, if you look around here, like storage, service endpoint, and the database information, please remember that we used earlier secrets and config maps in order to define these values, so we don't have to remember them. So therefore, we'll click on add from config map or secret, and the first one we'll add is the storage service point. It was in the Rados endpoint where we stored it, and the key is endpoint. And we'll do the same thing for the other variables. Password now. And the last one is the user. Now we can modify other resource information regarding the application. However, at this point we're not interested in these, so we'll just click create. This will start a process for building the application. And we can view the logs. You can see it's cloning the repository, and then it's starting to build up the application and then deploy it as pods. This will take a while, so I'm going to pause the video here and resume when we're ready to go to the next step.